live from the House of LeMay Makeup and Dressing Room.
Here comes Amber, stop what you're doing. Here comes Amber, she's just doing what she can. Here comes Amber, cue the spotlight. Here comes Amber with 2 drinks in her hand. The matriarch of fashion, from sequins to her glasses, you can't look away. Ask her, does she do it? There's really nothing to it. She's got that feminine gaze. If you have a party, or if you're feeling naughty, call up the House of LeMay. Here comes your favorite gal. Here comes your queen. Here comes the talk of the town. It's Amber Live tonight. The music starts to play and it's time for cabareting on Amber Live tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, please turn off all cell phones and get ready for your host, Amber LeMay.
How am I live? I think so.
Am I live? Am I live?
Am I?
They've changed their whole setup here. I'm live. I think I'm live. Hello. Let's see, I can't see. Da 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 da. I'm just a drag queen in a basement in the old North End. Beaver Pond Productions presents, and it is Ask Amber. Yes. Welcome. God, do I want to do this tonight or not? I don't know. Oh my gosh. I'm using some new technology today. So if things are getting a little glitchy, let me know, okay? Are people even going to watch? Who knows? They're probably busy doing other things. Hell, they've probably been drinking all day as far as I know. That's me. Yes. Welcome. Oh my gosh. Look. Notice we have a new theme song tonight. Yes, opening show for the show. Thank you, Jack Quinn. And then a new set tonight. Thank you, Amazon. So just new things happening. And oh my gosh, it's going to be a great night. Hi there, and welcome to Amber Live's first clip show. Yes, when I first started doing this thing, I had no idea what I was doing, where I was going to go with it, and for how long it would last. We had just gone into this lockdown, and I needed to do something, anything to express some of the things we were going through. And here we are, 4 months, and it's still here. Oh, those first 4 weeks were just me. That's it. Just sitting in a chair, then standing, just talking. And as I got more comfortable and got more compliments, and others offered to help, things changed for the better, both in content and appearance. Tonight we're going to look back, mainly at the shows where I first started having guests with clips and comments. You can see full episodes by going to my Facebook page or the YouTube channel. And don't forget to like and share. Oh, and by the way, it was tough cramming over 15 hours into one. So you might want to go get another cocktail. So my first guests back in show number 5 were longtime friends, Brian Chia and the Reverend Yolanda. Brian is a DJ, he's a therapist, he's a state representative, yes. And Yolanda, Reverend Yolanda, she's a nationally known singer and preacher who's called New York her home for the past 20-some years. And one of the reasons I started doing this show was to find out what my friends were doing to get by during this time, and business owners, what they were doing to survive. And so I had Natalie and Nathan from the Vermont Comedy Club. They checked in and tell us what they were doing. So enjoy. So now you're a state representative. So what do you see as your primary obligation to being a state representative?
I see the primary role of being a state representative is to be a voice for the people in my district in the decisions of the state. And so I'm a link between the state and the local level. And so it's my job to keep my constituents as informed as I can about what the state is doing, as well as bringing their experiences and opinions to the state level in our decisions. And I have to balance three things. I have to balance my constituents and their desires. I have to balance the caucuses that I'm part of, which are the political parties and different issues that I'm aligned with. And then the third C is your conscience, and just trying to come to it with a perspective of ethics. And sometimes what's popular with your constituents may be against your conscience, and those can be difficult decisions that you have to make. You have to balance all those interests.
Oh, Yolanda, we go way back. Oh my gosh,
You
reverse
know,
drag ball 25 years ago. Before that.
amazing.
And I've always said that if it wasn't for Yolanda and Cherry, who I hope to have on in a week or two, there wouldn't be House of LeMay without the guidance from you two. So
Oh,
I know other people are saying. But it means a lot to me. And how are you surviving now? What are you offering our community?
Oh, geez. Well, yeah, I mean, we've just been spending all of our time trying to figure out how to bring what we do online so that we can keep people laughing and keep people playing with each other. So
I've been trying to do that.
Yeah, but we are doing shows online. We do them either through Zoom or on Instagram Live.
What type of shows? What type of shows are you doing?
So we still do an open mic on Wednesday. Sometimes it's regular stand-up. Other times it's characters, like people workshopping different characters. Thursday, our improv team, the Main Stage improv team, does a game night. So we play crazy games online, live in front of people. And
I've watched that several times, and it's great. You don't, you can watch. You're not drugged. It's not like they pull you out of the audience. You can just sit there in your underwear eating Cheetos and watch these people have fun. So, if you saw that show, Yolanda sang a song, and we've got a clip of that later on in this show. Stick around.
Hi, I'm Russell. I'm the producer of Amber Live. I wanted to take a minute to explain to you all the things that go on behind the scenes to make this show happen each week. Usually on Monday, I spend the day writing thank you emails to all of our guests who were on the night before. These are actually mostly apologies, trying to clean up the mess that Amber created at the after party. It's Zoom. You wouldn't think she could cause that much of a problem, but she does. Anyway, the rest of the week, Tuesday through Saturday, I spend doing things trying to find new guests, trying to test guests' equipment to make sure it's going to be working that week. We run audio and video checks on it, trying to figure out new technology to make Amber look better. I know that's not easy. And there are a lot of other little minutiae that have to happen in order to make the show happen, like getting all of the pictures, the quiz done, everything laid out. You think Amber would get off her ass and do anything, but no. So on Sunday, she waltzes into the studio, and then I have to listen to stuff like this.
Well, this does keep me very busy because, I have a producer, but, I don't know what he does all day, but I put this whole thing together, and then he just kind of punches buttons on Sunday night. I got to fire my producer.
And then after listening to all that all night long, do I get thank yous? Do I get accolades? No, nothing. She doesn't do a damn thing to thank me. I get left out of everything. Week after week, I'm doing this for her. And another thing. You want to know why we're doing a clip show this week? Because Amber's suffering from exhaustion. Right. She's got the celebrity disease already, exhaustion. You want to see what exhaustion looks like? I'll show you what her exhaustion looks like. Calm blue ocean. Calm blue ocean. Oh, hi. So Amber Live is a lot of fun. I'm having a great time. I've learned a lot. And now back to our regularly scheduled program, which we hope you enjoy.
So the show number 6 was called Two Craigs and a Drag Queen. I was a drag queen. The two Craigs was DJ, entrepreneur, performer, and activist Craig Mitchell, and the other Craig was distillery owner Craig Stevens. Now, during the clip of Craig Stevens making a drink, notice how I am taken out of the screen. I'll explain that afterwards. It was also the first week that I had guests go head-to-head in a quiz. Oh, and sometimes I did a little ranting as well. Go on. Burlington is a special, special place that for some reason, creative, good, nice people gather here, and I'm just fortunate enough to know a few of them. You know, why they
right back to you.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, right back to you. You are one of those special people that's a beacon of light here, and especially right now. I mean, especially with the LGBTQ community, like we need you.
So what are you doing now to fill your time? Because I see your feed that you're playing here, playing this, going to church, and
well, I'm besides being an introvert, I'm also like ADHD, so I need stuff to do all day long. So I am very lucky that I do on Friday nights an event for folks who are recovering addicts. So they on Friday and Saturday nights would go out and dance with each other, and so I get to do a dance party for them online. On Saturdays, I do a party for kids that I also shout out all the essential workers. And then for Glam Vermont and Pride Vermont on Saturday nights, I do a party called Quarantined, which is fun. But Sunday mornings, I'm not a religious person. It's not really for me to say what my religious beliefs are and what my beliefs are in general, but I know folks are missing their church homes and their church families, and I'm all about making sure that everyone's happy. So every Sunday morning, from the confines of my kitchen, I do 2 hours of Gospel House every single Sunday morning, and so many people write in and they say thank you and bless you, and they get to go to church every Sunday. So that makes me feel really good.
Oh, how cool. I know Lucy Bell has been on us for years that we should do a gospel brunch sometime. So let's put that on the list of things to do once we can get out and do stuff. So tell us about this address, this Beatport. What's that about?
So Beatport is it's a dance music downloading service. So it's sort of like an iTunes for dance music. And I've released tons of records on there for years. So if you want to find my catalog, you can look up DJ Craig Mitchell or look up Craig Mitchell or Oliver Twisted. And I'm working on lots of other new music with some artists from around the world that some may know, some may not know. I can't say some of the names, but I will say Soul Pasada is one of them. And this guy, Will Monotone, and Sound Groove Records. And so those are coming, but also some other bigger stuff that's coming because I have time.
Do you know whose birthday it is today? Do you really? It is our First Lady. Yes, she's 50 years old today. Isn't that something? How exciting it must be for her. You know, just to have the thrill of being in the White House, being married to the president. Wouldn't just that be exciting for a person? Wait a second. I really don't care. Do you? You know, what the hell? How, for one thing, during the campaign, people were questioning about how she got a Einstein visa to become a citizen. And then the candidate Trump said, well, next week we're going to come out and show you all the papers. Well, 3-4 years later, we still haven't seen all the papers on how she became a Einstein citizen. And that's basically for people who are scientists, are doctors, are important people, not people who are strippers or hookers or of that nature. But she got an Einstein. How did that happen? I really don't know. So that really bothers me. And why she doesn't speak up, you know. And now I know I should be best. Isn't that, you know, Nancy Reagan at least said, don't do drugs, just say no. Yeah, that made sense. Okay, not that I agreed with it, but it made sense. Be best? No, you know, that's not our language. We don't speak that way. So you have a recipe you're going to teach tonight.
So this is a riff off of a riff of a mint julep. So this could be substituted. I'm doing our chai spiced rum. You could also use bourbon in substitute for it. So let's take a quarter of a lemon. I can handle measuring that. And you're going to want to cut that quarter into smaller pieces so that you can mash it or muddle it really easily. So here we go. You need a cocktail shaker, obviously. So I've got my lemon in here, 1/4 chopped up. I've got my 4 sprigs of mint, and then you're going to smash it, hence the chai spiced rum smash or muddle it.
Smash.
Now, I understand that the Hot Damn Trailer Park, the Beaver Pond girls, they tend to use mint quite a bit for freshening as well. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Multi-purpose, yes. Mint is multi-purpose.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely goes well in the menthol cigarettes.
Roll your own.
We'll smash this up really well. Then we're going to take 1 ounce of simple syrup. It's just that, it's simple. I took a 1/4 cup of water.
So your simple syrup, do you make your own simple syrup?
I do. And I don't heat it. I don't microwave it. Hot water from the tap, equal amounts of sugar. And I shook it. That was it. I did it earlier today.
Just sugar, plain sugar?
Just plain sugar. If you do it on the stove and heat it up, it'll stay longer in the refrigerator. It will stay a month, 6 weeks, 2 months. I didn't really care about it. I'm going to drink all of this tonight. So 1 ounce of the simple syrup. And then we've got 2 ounces of the chai rum. A little extra. That one's for you, Amber.
So the chai rum, you came up with that recipe yourself?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different recipes online for chai tea. No one has done a chai rum. So a lot of trial and error, a lot of drinking rum, a lot of drinking really bad rum. But eventually, landed on something good. I started with a traditional spice, like a Captain Morgan's traditional spice. And it was good, but the chai was just like the saffron and the Assam tea just like killed it. So, okay, so we've got our smashed up lemon. We've got our smashed up mint. We've got 2 ounces of rum, 1 ounce of simple syrup. We're going to add a bunch of ice to it. You're going to shake it, 20 shakes, 30 seconds. It's got to be cold. And then just pour it over ice in a rocks glass. Oh, I can see parts of the mint coming out. It looks so good. I wish you were here to ching ching with me here.
I do too. It'd be better than this box. All righty. Well, there's you can contact them at Wild Heart Distillery. Right there. We'll put the website back on there. And so that, right there it is. And that is just great. Yes, while Craig was making the drink, I noticed the low battery warning appear on my laptop. Panic! I took myself off the screen, ran upstairs, got my power cord, plugged it in, and then got back on the screen. Another reason why I wanted to do this show is so we didn't forget what used to happen and what would be happening if we weren't all in quarantine. And the next week I had Monique Ford from Burlington's Three Needs Bar. She told us that at the time there was no knowing when the bars were going to reopen. And as of today, while others in Burlington have opened, the Needs is still closed, not wanting to get their patrons or their staff in danger. So thank you for thinking about us. My other guest was professional actor Michael Houston from Orange is the New Black. That was really cool. And yes, I always like to answer viewers' comments. One thing I really like about Facebook, I know there's some things we don't like about it, but one thing I do like is that it brings up memories, pictures you posted years ago. And this week, it brought back some fun memories. There was back in Oh God, what year was it? It was 09, 11 years ago, where the House of LeMay hosted the Snuggie Pub Crawl. Yes, that was back in May 2nd of 2009. And what we did is we dressed in Snuggies. Did you ever have a Snuggie? Do you still have a Snuggie? That's the question. And we just bar hopped and we just had a great time. Let's see, that was our stop at Red Square, the doorman, John Alexander, there. And let's see, there's our friends, two V's, Vivian and Val. Vivian, the one with the hat, she had won the right to join us. We had, the week before, we had hosted our annual mud flapping, sap tapping review, and she won a contest during that show, and so she was our guest. And Val's just been a great friend of the House of LeMay for years and years. And let's see, and there's a group of us as well. I think that was at the drink bar, but we just had a great time that evening, just going from bar to bar and just having fun and letting people laugh at us, you know. And that we need some more of that, don't we? I can't wait till we have some more pub crawls. We can go together into groups and as groups and into bars. I miss that, don't you? Yeah, but saving some money, that's for sure. Drinking at home, that bottle of platinum. Yes. Also, what happened, it was, again, that same year. Boy, that was a busy year for us. The same week, we were honored. Oh, my gosh. Can you believe this? We were honored with the Vermont GBLQT, boy, that's an odd assortment of letters there, Lifetime Activism and Performing Arts Achievement Award. Yes, and that was signed by people from the Vermont Outright. Let's see, there was all kinds of clubs and organizations that did that, gave that to us. The mayor of Burlington, Bob Kiss, at the time signed it. Mark Redmond from Spectrum, RU12 Community Center, Phil Fermante from Bernie Sanders' office, Outright Vermont. But it was just a nice award, a nice honor. But you know what? I'm thinking that lifetime achievement, they didn't think we were going to be around 11 years later, did they? We fooled them. We're still here. And we're doing all kinds of different things as well, like Amber Live. So how is your staff doing? I mean, they're close-knit people, close-knit.
Yeah, we're like family for sure. There's a lot of us. There's almost 24 of us, and between the door and the pizza and the bar staff, and I've been keeping in touch with everyone. And I would say most people I know, when we applied for unemployment, a lot of us had some snafus in the beginning, and so I created a virtual tip jar for the bar, and that's actually posted on our Facebook page if anyone feels like helping out. And we were able to help some of the staff out before they were able to get their unemployment or stimulus by doing that. And thank God for our amazing regulars and your support as well. I really appreciate it. It's truly, this has brought out the best in so many ways of people.
This wasn't your first TV show, but it was a major recurring role.
Yeah. It was. It was an amazing experience. Something that I'll never ever forget. And there's Evan and Michael. Just an amazing experience. Up until that point, I had done a couple little recurring roles, on Boardwalk Empire. And then while I was actually working on Orange, I was also doing this show called Sneaky Pete on Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
But this was definitely the biggest role I've had to date in terms of character and all that stuff. So
now I did also, I read your resume and saw that you were on Blue Bloods.
Yes, I was. A lot.
Yeah.
So the way it worked was when I first started doing this here in New York, I played a lot of police officers. Before I brought up my beard, so I played cops a lot of times, and Blue Bloods was one of those great shows that they like to keep the environment similar, and so they'd hire a lot of us to come back and recur and play different episodes as the same cop. So that was a really great experience. I got to work. Tom Selleck was awesome.
That's what I was going to get at. Yeah. As a little girl, I loved him on Magnum PI.
Oh, he was the best. And that mustache is the real deal. It is cool to see it up close.
Now, it seems like he's a little right of center in his political views. Does that ever come out?
Nah, it doesn't show up in any way, other than the no. Nope. It really didn't.
Again, so don't say anything bad.
No.
It's not about you. It's not like it's going to stop you from getting it, but it's going to slow it down some. But it's so you can. Someone said, all right, it's like if you're standing next to someone and you're both naked and they start peeing, it's going to get on you. All right, it's going to get all over you. However, if you've got pants on, and if they've got pants on and they pee, it's only going to affect them. All right. Same thing with a mask. It's don't pee. Wear the mask. Don't pee. Okay. And if you both have masks on, it's like you both have pants on. So no one's. It's just the smeller's the feller. I guess that's what that means. Is this a new dress? No. This actually Marguerite made this many years ago. Yes, and yes, I can still wear it. Every week, we ask or suggest that you send us an email and get on the show live. Well, one person did one week, and we've had him back every week since.
Hey, it's me, Rocco Zamboni, author of Hey, Her Husband Came Home and Now I'm Under the Bed, and its sequel. I didn't expect a threesome, but okay. Anyway, I'm here because Amber's doing the whole best of show thing. I don't know about best of, because I've seen the show. I don't know what she's gonna pick. But anyway, I'm introducing my section, Rocco's section, the fun one. Because let's face it, it's fun. Amber and I have been on many adventures together in the past. You probably haven't heard about some of them, so let me inform you. We took a plane to Amarillo, Texas, and we got everyone on the plane to reenact Grease 2. It was fantastic. Of course, I played the guy, and Amber, she played, what's her face, Michelle Pfeiffer. I could picture her as Michelle Pfeiffer in 50 years. Anyway, so you're asking, hey Rocco, what else you been up to? Well, maybe you should check out my YouTube channel, Rocco Zamboni versus the Internet. I do want to say Happy New Year to everyone out there, and thank you, Amber, because you know what? I like being on your show. You're fun. That's why I like you. We do fun things. And these clips are going to show some of those fun things. Alright? And I know what you're thinking. You're saying, Rocco, you're the best. No, you're the best. You got that? Keep watching this show, Amber Live, because it's freaking fantastic. I gotta go do something now, Alright, bye.
And I see we do have someone who contacted our producer and wants to go on air. Let's see, who could that be? All right. It's Rocco Zamboni.
I just want to say your singing is a little appreciated during this trying time, but earplugs would be better. I'm saying. This upcoming election has got me a little concerned. You know why?
No, I don't.
Trump's a dick. Anybody who says, hey, hanging out with Trump in a hot tub is a great time is wrong, because it's not. Okay?
Did you do anything for your mother today?
I called, I said hi, and I actually wrote her a poem that I read, Mom, by Rocco Zamboni. Mom, you gave birth to me. What a weird day that was for both of us. Since that day, we've been like mother and son. I like that. You taught me how to tie my shoes, wipe my ass, and make meatballs. What the hell did Dad do?
Well, how nice. I expected there to be some rhyming in there, but you kind of went free verse on us. How progressive of you.
Anyway, as you can see, I'm driving right now. I'm not even able to call you in person, which sucks, but hey, what are you going to do? So I went to Minnesota. I drove there. That's where I am right now, Minnesota. Can you see? Not much different, really. A little colder. So I heard they had a spam museum. And the damn place is closed because of this quarantine. Hey. All right.
Now, is that yours from your childhood?
No. It's mine from now.
Oh.
You don't gotta be a kid to have fun, do you? Well, like many of people, I grew up watching Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Mhm.
And we would play Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood at my house. The only difference is we changed it a little bit. We made it Mr. Hefner's Neighborhood. You know,
That's different.
You'd put on your robe, walk around. You got your bunnies. Granted, there were stuffed bunnies back then, but you know, bunnies nonetheless. And then you go take a bath in the grotto. I just want to say something. I bet even Mr. Rogers himself would say, you know, Donald Trump's a dick. Like that. I'm assuming that's what he'd say.
In his own way, I'm sure he would.
I'm very excited about this hump festival thing, though. Anything with the word hump in, I'm in. I love Wednesdays because it's hump day, you know? But I just wanted to, you know, say, hey, happy Italian Gay Pride Month.
Are there any gay Italians?
What are you kidding me? Frank Stallone. Frank Stallone.
Okay. I did not know that.
My brother-in-law.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? How do you know he's gay?
My brother told me.
Okay. All right.
My brother's not gay, but his husband is.
I understand that. I know,
you know, but I don't know if I told you this. It's big news. I've been selected to host the Big Tony Awards this year.
The big Tony Awards?
Oh, yeah, the annual Big Tony Awards. You know, the families get together. They have award ceremony. It's all peaceful, but it's fun.
So, what are some of the categories in the Big Tony Awards?
Oh, that's very good. We got, let's see. What do we got? The most profitable robbery, the hottest kumar, most original way to get whacked. Of course, that's a posthumous award. So, let's face it. Our in memoriam category takes 2 hours. All right.
Are you a father?
Maybe, maybe not. Who knows?
Okay. So, well, and
there's quite possibly a Rocco Jr. out there somewhere. I don't know if you're aware of this, but Gwyneth Paltrow's got this whole candle thing that smells like a vagina. But I figured if she could do it, why can't Rocco do it, right? So I made a few candles. I've been testing them out. I'm going to show you some of the ones that I'm going to have up for sale very soon. I made this one especially for you. Actually, here it is over here. It's in a can, number one. Makes sense in the can. This one I call LeMay Not. Because you got to douse it in alcohol in order to get it hot enough. The amber flame peters out after a few seconds, from what I'm told.
So, did you get a haircut, Rocco?
Could you tell? Jeez.
Yeah.
I said, cut a little off the top and the sides and everywhere, and they did a little too much.
When 3 people have sex, it's called a threesome.
Yeah.
When 2 people have sex, it's called a twosome. And when you have sex, they call you handsome. You know, that's... Well, Rocco, next year, if we have a pride parade in Beaver Pond, Vermont, you ought to come up and maybe we'd make you the Grand Marshal.
Oh, I would love it. You kidding? Thank you, Amber. And again, everyone out there in TV land, happy Pride. All right.
Happy Pride. Yeah.
This is Rocco Zamboni. I'll talk to you later because I don't know where I am. I don't know how I'm getting home.
Well, my next show was the first one I had done with no Vermont guests, and also the first time to have an opening theme song. The week before, I mentioned I should have a theme song, and lo and behold, I got one. For my guest, first there was filmmaker Roberto Sorrentino. I managed to mispronounce his name at least 12 times. He was a fascinating guest. My other guest was another of my favorite international drag stars, Dixie Longate. Dixie rose to fame in an off-Broadway show as a Tupperware lady. Yeah, and she still sells it today. I really like Facebook. I know there's things you don't like about it, but I really like it because it brings back memories of things that we've done in the past. And this week it brought back really some nice memories. And what was really upsetting was that It brought back memories of events that we participated in to help raise money for nonprofit organizations. And those places just aren't going to have those events this year to raise money. A few of the events that we liked that we had, Lucy and I did this one thing. It was called Cornhole Tournament. Now, when we agreed to do it, Lucy said, "Cornhole, I'm all for that." Well, when we got there, she didn't realize it was going to be a game of pitching beanbags into little holes. Yes, but that's what we did. And we raised money. It's for the Lunt Family Center. And for over 125 years, they have helped children thrive by empowering families to break cycles of poverty, addiction, and abuse. It's a great organization that I know has helped many friends of mine. And it was just a fun event. It was held out by the airport here in Burlington. And we just went out and we made so many good friends. Every time we got a cornhole or one in the big hole, we go and do a high five, and oh God, people were just laughing at us. And we all had sashes. Now, as you can see, there I am as Miss Cornhole, of course. And then Lucy Bell's the reigning Miss Beaver Pond. She had to wear her sash. She's the sashiest woman I know. And then Miss Vermont was there too, so we had to get a picture with her. But that was for the Lund family home. And again, you know, a lot of people are very fortunate to still be working. And I would hope that you take some time and donate to these great causes, just because they need help. They were expecting all this windfall from these events that they planned for months and months and months, and they weren't able to have them, but they still need the money. So please consider, if not these events, some other activities that you support. Another thing we did, oh my gosh, it was the 7 days, the statewide alternative newspaper. It's a great paper. And they have their annual restaurant week every year. Well, that was supposed to be last week. And of course, they're postponing it. Hopefully it's going to be later on in the fall. But one of the big events is their Smackdown that kicks off the week. And the first year, I was one of the judges. It was a dessert Smackdown. They had like 20 chefs making these desserts. And they asked me to be a judge. Can you imagine me judging things? But it was a benefit for the Vermont Food Bank. And it raised thousands and thousands of dollars for the Vermont Food Bank. And it was just a great event. I ate a lot of good foods. And this one guy said, "Open up wide." And so I did. Oh, he was cute. And of course, the paparazzi was there. And there's Ava Solberger from 7 Days. She does this great video show called Stuck in Vermont. She just picks out these unique activities and people from Vermont and just highlights them. And people say, "Stuck in Vermont? That isn't positive." Well, yeah, we're happy to be stuck in Vermont. We think this is a very special place. And oh gosh, and then another memory that came up was from an event called the Hoopalooza. It was a benefit for the Puppets in Education, and the Burlington Rotary Club helped put this on. And what it was a beautiful day in City Hall Park. As you can see, the trees were budding, it was sun shining, and the Rotary Club had made all of these hula hoops for people, and there was contests. And so, of course, Marguerite and I were there, and so we had fun, and we helped raise money and awareness for another good cause. So please consider this year, this week, or anytime. You got extra money? Think about some of the organizations that mean a lot to you or a lot to your friends, and let's give them some money, okay? Because these people, like I said, they plan months for these annual events, and they count on that coin coming in. And when it stopped, you know, their services are going to stop as well. So we hope that you'll reach out and help them a little bit too. But those are those fun memories, and you know that's what the House of LeMay does. We go out there and we promote and raise money and awareness for many organizations. And over the 27 years we've been doing this, we've literally raised over hundreds of thousands of dollars for organizations, and we do it to do it. And people say, "Well, why do you do all that?" Well, because we can. We got a little bit idea from the clip there, but just give me a synopsis of what that's all about.
Yeah, so a friend of mine and I collect these cookbooks, and they're pretty rare. They're from the 70s. They're a series called In Bocca, Italy in Bocca, and they cover the 20 regions of Italy, and they're very special. They're made out of cardboard. They have these funky pictures inside, little stories, of course, recipes, and I don't know. We were just always so amazed by these books. So a day before the city shut down, we decided to make like a Last Supper, and we chose 4 meals out of the books. Went to the best markets we can find in New York, talked to all the purveyors, bought the best ingredients, took it back to the house, and cooked an epic meal. And of course, because I am a filmmaker, I had to document everything. And the result was this little documentary, 20-minute documentary that people have been really, delighted to see, because it's about food, it's about family, it's about culture. And at the end of the day, if people can watch it, maybe they can understand that Italy is hurting a lot like the United States is. And like you said in the opening of the show, like if you can give anything, give, because people need, a lot of help out there more than maybe I do or someone else does. So just a way to connect with people and make the best of the situation.
So in Bocca, my Italian's not that good. So
you know what it means. You know what it means, Amber. It means in the mouth.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard that before.
Open wide, Amber.
I don't know about how the laws are in Alabama, but here in Vermont, we're allowed to grow some 2 plants of marijuana for personal use.
Well, look at you, so progressive.
So people are baking and being creative. Now, is Tupperware available for any storage of food or anything like that?
Honey, I'll tell you what, I've had more people since the laws got down here, you can't look. If you grow mint leaves in your damn yard, people lose their minds. Here, come on, don't get all crazy. But we have all kinds of storage. I was actually in Colorado several years ago doing shows when they passed that, because Colorado and Washington State were the first 2 states to be able to get that. And so I was in Colorado at the time, and they're like, everybody get ready to choke up. It's illegal and everything. You would not believe the amount of people who would come to me and say, what do you have that's going to keep my marijuana fresh? And I said, let me see what I can do. So, yes, of course, we've got some amazing things that'll keep it fresher longer, because you want the potency to be there. So when you put it in your mouth, or whatever you do, that I don't know, I've never done that it's real potent, so that you can be like, oh, I see elephants dancing, or what, I don't know what happens, but it's something like that. So we've got all kinds of good things to take care of you, because I don't want people's food storage needs to be met. I know sometimes people they feel like they have a hole in their food storage needs, and I'm here to fill your hole, because I don't want you to have that issue, because that's sad, and that makes Jesus cry.
You've got to follow Dixie Longate on Facebook. Every day, or almost every day, she gives this 5 to 12 minute talk about, sometimes I don't know what she's talking about. The following week was all about Minnesota. Why Minnesota? I have no idea. First was Minnesota native and my longtime Vermont friend, John Olson. And second was another international drag sensation and one of my favorite people of all time, Miss Richfield, 1981. Well, tell us.
Yeah, well, after college, I had wanted to pursue a fabulous career in hospitality. And so I was going to work in hotels, and my supervisor at the time had been transferred to Burlington, Vermont, the Radisson. And I called him for a reference, and he said, well, how about a job? And I thought, that would save a few steps. So I said I would give it a try. If I didn't like it, I'd go back to the beautiful Twin Cities near Richfield, Minnesota, and work there. But I thought I would give it a try for 6 months, and it's been 32 years.
Wow. There's a lot of people who have those stories who come to Burlington especially and fall in love and just say, nope, I'm staying here.
Yeah, that's great. So, but I did come on a Greyhound bus, just like that, from Minnesota.
Can you move that?
Yes,
can you give it as?
There we go. A little shout out to our friend, a local artist, Aaron Stein, who is does all this work in license plates. And for my 29th birthday, the 21st anniversary of my 29th birthday,
I was there.
Yes, I decided to commission a piece of art, and I wanted to do something with the Minnesota plate when I was born, and a Vermont plate. And I happened to find the Vermont plate, not the year I arrived here, but I found a 1971 in the Navy Extra Shop in Provincetown. So I thought that is perfect. That's good. So it's a wonderful piece. There's a map of Minnesota, and Aaron called it John's Journey. So I'm quite pleased with that piece. So I wanted to show it off on the Minnesota show.
Oh, very nice. And, there's no truth to the rumor that Aaron Stein learned how to work with license plates in prison. There's no truth to that.
I have no information about that.
So tell us about your title of Miss Richfield 1981.
I'm so glad you asked. A lot of people think that's my name. It isn't that my name. It is my beauty title. I don't let my name out. I haven't done that for years. Since this strong gal on a Harley, she started sort of calling me regularly, and I had to disconnect my phone and go unlisted. So I'm Miss Richfield 1981 because I was crowned as Miss Richfield, our beauty queen in the city of Richfield. We have a beauty contest every year. And in 1981, it was the 5th time I tried it. And just before I was going to age out, that's a beauty pageant term, age out. And then I won the title. It was it was just really my talent and my beauty and my years of experience. And the fact that there was 11 of us and I was one of 3 under 250 pounds. So that helped. But the big help was Trudy Olson, who was twirling not 1, not 2, but 3 flaming batons and lost control and took the whole front row of contestants out in a terrible fire.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's the only one to stop, drop, and roll that day, which is also how I do my hair.
In many of the shows, I mentioned wearing a mask, how important I thought that was, not for just your safety, but for mine as well. I'm in that risky age category, Mm-hmm. So people ask, Amber, you should sing. Amber, you should sing. So I sang a song about wearing a mask. You can sing along now. Come on, let's put the words up. When you're getting sick, make sure you mask your face. Don't be a total dick. Make sure you mask your face. In these days of social distancing, please be aware that if you cough or sneeze a lot, you don't want to share. Don't stand too close to others. They may just have the bug. Don't be don't give your friends a hug. Don't spread COVID all over the place. Just make sure you mask your face. For the past 10 years, the House of LeMay has volunteered for the Vermont City Marathon. So in the next show, I did a little remembering. And then we had the first appearance by Scottish chef Francis, who later became a regular guest, appearing week after week. We'll have a special segment on him later on. Also on that show was one of the most engaging people I have ever met on or off screen, Francois Clemmons. Officer Clemmons from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. When I said we could talk for hours, I wasn't kidding. Today is the Sunday of Memorial Day weekend. And normally, about this time, I'd be pretty tired because Lucy Bell and I would be, we would have been volunteering at the annual Memorial Day marathon. Yes, it's the Vermont City Marathon. And we always go down and volunteer. Yep, rain or shine, we are down there. And today would have been the 31st Vermont City Marathon and Relay. It's a great day in Burlington where there's over 7,500 runners and 20,000 spectators. Yep, every Memorial Day weekend for the past 10, 11 years, we'd be at the corner of Church and Cherry Street directing traffic. Yes, we did. We worked it, man, because runners would come by us. The police were always checking me out, too. I think they liked me. Anyway, we'd be there to Cherry and Church Street, and they'd come running up to Church Street at mile 3 and then back down Church Street at mile 9. So we got them coming and going. And oh, my gosh, it was so much fun. but oh, what work it was. But we tried to dress up, patriotically. There's Lucy Bell. And it was so gratifying. There's a picture of us that was in the Free Press. Our picture was in the Free Press almost every year. But it was just so gratifying. They even used us to advertise it. Those are big posters that they put up outside the Hotel Vermont to advertise it. Like I said, we were there, rain or shine, boy. In some years, it was pretty nasty, but we were always out there. So I just want to say thank you. And then after the marathon, our job was done. We would go to Lunig's for brunch, and then we'd go down to the waterfront where there was a big party going on. They'd have a band playing. Yankee Pot Roast was the band, and we'd go down there and have a couple beers, and then we'd wander our way back home. But oh my God, was it a great day? And I'm just so sorry we couldn't be a part of it today. But they've rescheduled to October 25th. So if you're a runner, come on up to Burlington, Vermont on October 25th and be a part of, it's the largest marathon relay race in the country. Yeah. And it's been voted most scenic, most energetic volunteers. It's a great place. It's a great day to be in Burlington, Vermont. So if you're a runner, why don't you come on up? That'd be fun. We'd love to see you. So I just got to tell you that you and I have something in common. Well, one thing we have in common is that you were on the cover of 7 Days in January. That's a great picture. And I love the story. It was written by one of my favorite authors or writers at 7 Days, Dan Bowles.
Yes.
Isn't he a cutie?
You're supposed to take me to the movies.
Oh, well, I go to the movies with Dan. He's my favorite ginger. Well, see, I've also been on the cover of 7 Days. Your picture's a little more flattering than mine, but that was for the League of Drag Queen Voters back, I think, like 5-6 years ago when we were having an election for mayor. And they put the League of Drag Queen Voters there on the cover of 7 Days. So we have something in common.
Yes, I wanted to tell you how wonderful you look tonight.
Well, now you're just charming, aren't you?
And while I was singing at Third Presbyterian, Fred came to a special Good Friday, I think it was afternoon concert that I did of All American Negro Spirituals. Ooh. And he was so deeply touched that I swear to you, when I finished singing, because you do, were you there when they crucified my Lord? Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble. Were you there when they crucified my Lord? That's for you.
Oh my God, that is Matthew Claus's. That is awesome. That's beyond awesome. Thank you so much. That was beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
So
I hadn't planned to sing for yet, or wait to see what you wanted to hear.
Oh, you just hearing you talk is beautiful. Fred Rogers saw you and said, "Hey, I want you."
Yes, he said, "Please, let's have lunch." We went to a wonderful restaurant. You'd have been right at home because there were nothing but a lot of old ladies sitting around and knitting and doing. That was their favorite place, and so I went with him, and we had the most wonderful, wonderful time. He was an introvert, so he never stopped listening, and I never stopped talking. We were match made in heaven.
I could talk to you for hours, or I could listen to you for hours, I should say.
You're proud of me already? You want me to take my award and go home?
No, I do want to talk. Your book is out. We showed the cover of your book. You have your memoirs out, and I understand there's like 4 others in the making because you have so much material to cover. So,
who told you that?
Oh, I've got my sources. I've got my sources.
Quite
And how long have you been in Vermont?
I came in 2015, 16, 2017. In 2016, they gave me an honorary doctorate here at Middlebury College. And then the president, John McCardle, asked me to stay. Is there a way that you can stay with us?
I hate to put you on the spot. Could you treat us to another song?
Oh, I would love to. Me. He's got the whole world in his hand. He's got the whole round the world right in his hand. He's got the whole world in his hand. He's got the whole world in his hand. He's got the wind and the rain, Lord, in his hand. He's got the wind and the rain right in his hand. He's got the wind and the rain, Lord, in his hand. He's got the whole world in his hand. He's got that tiny little baby right in his hand. He's got the sweet little child, y'all, in his hand. He's got that tiny little baby right up in his hand. He's got the whole world in his hand. He's got the up and the down, y'all, in his hand. He's got the up and the down right up in his hand. He's got the up and the down right up in his hand. He's got the whole world in his hand. He's got you and me, Lord, in his hand. He's got you and me right up in his hand. He's got you and me, Lord, in his hand. He's got the whole world in his hand.
Oh, Francois, you're a gift. Another behind-the-scenes secret. He wasn't expecting to sing that second song. During the interview, I realized I had left the questions up for the next quiz upstairs in my printer. So I asked him to sing, took myself off camera, and ran. Live theater. And now it was June. Let's look forward to June because, June to me has always been the true start of summer. School was out, high school, graduation, and the beginning of vacations. And there's some things to look forward to in June because did you know that the month of June was named after the Roman goddess Juno? Yeah, it was Juno, who happened to be the wife and sister of Jupiter. Yeah. Were they from Vermont? I don't know. But yes, she was the wife and sister of Jupiter, who was the chief Roman god. I don't know. It's all Greek to me. Anyway, Juno. And I always thought June was such a pretty name. There used to be a lot of famous Junes in the spotlight. Can you think of any famous Junes? I think I can think of a few. Let's see. There was June Allison. Let's see. Who else was there? There was June Lockhart. Let's see. Who else was there? Let's see. There's some pictures to remind me. Yep, that's June Allison up in the top left corner there. Remember her? She was in some famous Jimmy Stewart movies. Yeah, and she did the Depends commercial that night. Hey, listen. If she was still working at that age, good for her. And that's June Lockhart next to her. Some of you older people might remember her as Timmy's mother in Lassie, but then I remember her most as the mother on Lost in Space. I would have liked to have been that mother with Don and all those other handsome guys. And then down in the lower left, that's June Carter Cash. That's Johnny Cash's second wife. Yes, thank you. Yes, you knew that, Larry. And then June Cleaver. Yes, she was a character, but her name was June. That was pretty. And she always had that nice pearl necklace that Ward gave her. Ward gave her a lot of pearl necklaces, I think. Yeah. Even though sometimes she would say, Ward, you were too rough on the beaver last night. But she always had a nice pearl necklace. So, but those were, what they all have in common? They're dead. I have a slight correction to make. June Lockhart is not dead. She is now 95 years old and still breathing. My apologies to the Lockhart family. The rest of that show had some more of my old friends. Darren Cassani, he's a former Vermonter, now Key West vagabond and host of Catch the Mania Trivia, and another former Vermonter and also Key West vagabond, Jess Butt. And we learned some local movie house theater history from Merrill Jarvis. So let's get to Catch the Mania online, because you used to do it in bars, but you've been doing it online on Mondays or a few nights, several nights a week.
Yep.
Tell us about that.
So I was down in Key West when establishments started being closed. And that meant that we didn't have trivia going on any places. And I was kind of hanging around my place and not going out on the streets because Key West was still kind of crazy there. And we didn't know what was going on with Corona and all that. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to run a virtual trivia night here. And I put my phone up and I put my computer up and I ran one to Instagram, I think, and one to Facebook maybe. And just had the questions on a TV behind me. Well, my roommate here who was up in Vermont said, hey, we can make that better, and brought in OBS, which is a software, and zoomed me in and did all these things that I couldn't have done by myself. Speaking of which, your presentation is great now. I hadn't seen the beginning of it. I watched a few times at the beginning of your show, and boy, it's great now.
I've got a great technical crew with Russell and Jack down in New York, who I just say, hey, let's do something, and boom, it happens. So,
really looks professional and it's and enjoyable. So.
All right. So, Jessica, just a little background.
Hi.
You used to live here in Burlington, Vermont.
I did.
Good friend of mine for drag ball, all the drag balls, you would run the spotlight. You'd host karaoke for me, whatever you could do. So, but now you're in Key West. Why are you in Key West?
I started coming to Key West about 8 years ago. One of my best friends moved here, and I started to come visit, and I fell in love with Key West. And
so you're one of the people, the dregs. You're one of the dregs that Darren was talking about that shakes down to Key West.
Yes, I was. So I've been coming down here for about 8 years, like once a year to visit, and I've made other friends down here. And I have my master's degree in library and information science, and I was working part-time library jobs in Vermont. Mm-hmm. And I had applied for a couple of jobs down here in the Keys before, keyslibraries.org. And last year I was in the position of looking for something full-time, and a few positions came up at some of the libraries here in Key West, and I applied for them, and I had interviews, and they'd interviewed me before, and I got one of the jobs.
So Meryl, how long have you owned movie theaters, or your family?
My family, my grandmother and grandfather used to own a drive-in in Milton, Vermont, and they owned a movie theater in Winooski called The Strand.
Now, where was that in Winooski? Where was that in Winooski?
It's right where they're building that brewery now on Main Street.
Okay.
It was a bank now, and now
it's
gonna be a brewery.
Right around the corner. Okay.
It burnt down. And then in 1957, they built the Burlington Drive-In. My father was a projectionist there.
Now, where was the Burlington Drive-In?
The Burlington Drive-In was on Shelburne Road, down past Shearer Chevrolet, where there's a old folks living center there now, next to the bowling alley, Champlain Lanes.
Yeah.
So my father ran the projectors, and my mother ran the snack bar. My grandmother owned it. I was born the weekend that the Burlington Drive-In opened. And so since I've been 3 days old, I've been in movie theaters every day of my life. When I came home from the hospital, I went directly to the projection room at the Burlington Drive-In. I slept in the projection room, and every day since then, I've been in the movie.
Oh my gosh, how cool. So now, which theaters do you own in the Burlington area?
Now we own the Majestic 10, the Palace 9, and the Roxy 6.
Oh my God, that's like 25 screens.
Yes, 25 empty screens right now.
I know. So we'll get into that. So over the years, you go to theater conventions and all this stuff. Do you have any stories about any stars that you've met? Maybe some that were either really nice that you didn't expect, or some that were really dirtbags?
A lot of times I had to sign a paper saying I would not reveal what happened, but
I love the but.
Let me see. Seth Rogen was here at the Roxy.
Yes.
And we had a good time. Seth Rogen.
Now, did you allow him to smoke
here.
his pot? Did you allow him to smoke his pot in the theater?
Of course. In the projection room.
Okay.
Jennifer Gardner was here for an event. And I go to the movie conventions out in Vegas, and I meet lots of stars there all the time.
Yeah.
It's a fun time. You get to eat dinners with them, and it's nice.
So one thing I really like about the Roxy in downtown Burlington is you don't get the blockbusters. You know, you'd have the smaller films. One of my favorite ones is your Hump Festival that you have every year. So can you talk about the Hump Festival?
Sure, it's coming again in November for 2 days. I don't have the dates with me right away, but we are getting it back if everything is opened then, and hopefully it will be.
That's the Dan Savage Film Festival that he has, where he encourages people to produce 5-minute porn films, you know, and it's
all
really
amateur.
cool. All amateur. All things that you just go, oh my God. And it's really fascinating, the audience that you get for that. It's the whole gamut of everything.
It is. You know, I've been in the porn business before. We've ran porno
as a
films
performer? As a performer?
Like I said, I had to sign papers not revealing that. But we've ran porno movies before, and back in the early 70s, it was a totally different crowd. It's the trench coat crowd. We used to run Deep Throat at noontime, and all the lawyers and judges and business owners would all come into the theater.
Now, which theater was that? Which theater?
That was at the Flynn Theater.
The Flynn.
Yeah, we used to own the Flynn also.
Now, the Flynn, if you don't, those who don't know the Flynn, is this beautiful Art Deco theater from the 30s that now seats 1,400 people and brings in Broadway shows and local productions, and just an amazing facility. It used to be a sticky seated, seedy place.
Well, they weren't sticky, but now with the Dan Savage festival, it's more family oriented. It's strange. Kids, you know, older kids come with their parents, and it's a family gathering. Friends are coming with their friends, and couples with other couples. You know, it's a whole different story. It was very surprising for me to see what type of people came to it. It's definitely a lot more acceptable.
Isn't it amazing, though? Yes, I agree. Our second show in June kicked off Pride Month with Justin Marsh from the Vermont Pride Center. And then we headed north to Canada to talk with former Vermonter Fred Kerr and another international drag star, Miss Conception, both from Toronto. And Miss C did a number for us. It's the 30 Days of Vermont Pride. Is that the title?
Yes, 30 Days of Pride, and the hashtag is 30 Days of Pride VT. Yes.
Oh, BT. Okay. So tell me about that.
So one of our great board members, Art Hull, I think you might know Art, he brought up to my attention that I think, you know, first of all, in the industry, we call it R&D, rip off and duplicate. So I believe someone like the Human Rights Campaign or something like that had been doing something called 30 Days of Pride. And so we put it into R&D, and we have our own now, 30 Days of Pride Vermont. And so what we're doing is every single day in June, we're highlighting a different person, place, thing, organization in Vermont that has been instrumental to our history.
What are you doing in Toronto?
Well, one of the things I do is I do one of these little talk show things. It's called The Point. youtube.com/thepointguys. Before I tell you about it, let me also say that we've been on lockdown because of the, so we haven't been doing, oh, there's our website. Look at that. That was our 100th show last year when we did our 100th episode. But it's basically a panel discussion modeled after The View, The Point. But it's 6 guys, 3 are straight and 3 are gay. And so the whole
let's see if we can pick them out.
Do you know how many people say to me, "Oh, honey, they're all gay"? But no,
that's what I'd say.
Yeah.
Give them me and a 6-pack in a half hour.
Right. The idea was gay men and straight men are 2 social groups that don't usually socialize together. And I have a few straight friends, and it was fascinating to have conversations with straight men about things that there are a lot of assumptions that gay men make about straight men and straight men make about gay men, not only about each other, but about other issues in general. So I thought, well, what if we actually got a group of guys together to talk about current events, politics, dating, sex. I mean, one of my, I always say to people that it's so much fun getting a straight guy to talk about butt plugs. Because it's not something that, they necessarily want to talk about. And actually, we were talking a little bit before about PrEP, and we have talked a number of times about PrEP on the show, on The Point. Straight men have no idea. At least the straight men that I come in contact with, even in a big city, in a big progressive city, the message about PrEP doesn't get out there to the straight community. I mean, I got feedback from straight women saying to me, why don't I have access to this? Why don't I have PrEP as a way to protect myself? Why is this only marketed to gay men? That's a good question.
So, I really like your show because you do so many characters, and each one has a different costume. How do you change all those costumes? I mean, it's not like you go off stage like Cher and come out 10 minutes later in a new outfit. You are just ripping them off, or just costumes, and then, or you just step off side for a second, you come out in something new. What's the most costumes you've had in one show?
Oh, God. I think the most costumes I had in one show was 11 costumes. It was crazy. I did about 11 different costume changes. I did the Wizard of Oz in 10 minutes, and I did all 6 characters. And I spun out from Glinda to the Lion to the Tin Man to the Scarecrow to the Witch to Dorothy. It was so cool. I want to bring it to Provincetown.
You should.
Ask any of the chickies in my pen. They'll tell you I'm the biggest mother hen. I love them all, and all of them love me. Because the system works, the system called reciprocity. Ooh, girl, hey. Got a little motto, always sees me through. When you're good to mama, mama's good to you.
As I mentioned earlier, Scottish chef Francis Legg was on the show and made this wonderful recipe for shortbread. We liked it so much, and you liked it so much, we've had him back several times. I'd like to welcome to Amber Live, Mr. Francis Legg.
Hello, this is the Donut. It is I, the Donut King.
What were you doing before you went on Master Chef, and how'd you get on that show?
I was directing music videos for Sherry Vine and all the drag queens and all the downtown talent in New York City. And then I got really bored of trying to make other people famous and all working with all these drag queens. So I got convinced, or my wife convinced me to audition for MasterChef. So lo and behold, and like 40,000 people auditioned, so I thought I had no chance at all whatsoever to be on the show.
And they chose you?
We're going to do this really quickly. I'm going to
Yes, yes.
If you don't have the food processor, you're going to do it with your fingers. All right. So you're going to pick it up and you're going to push or pull rub the butter between everything until it turns into the exact same texture, the sandy texture. Just go for it. Pull it out. Let it cool completely, and that's when you'll get this gorgeousness. All right.
Okay. Well, let's see how mine looks. I'm going into my my Gaytag oven here. It looks delicious. See, my magic Gaytag oven even cuts it and puts it on a plate.
That's amazing. All right, today I'm gonna show you how to do buttercream, because I'm sure you've watched many reality cooking shows where people totally fudge up the buttercream, right?
Yeah.
Right. Beat that butter for like 3 minutes. You're gonna I don't know why I did that. You're gonna turn that butter in here, and you're gonna keep beating it and beating it and beating it until it gets really creamy and thick. All right? This is just full of innuendos, right? And then you're gonna beat it for another minute. Add another cup. Beat it slowly, turn it up, and beat it as hard as you can. Again, it's all about as hard as you just beat it, beat it, beat it, beat it. Steak. This week, I'm going to teach you how to do steak my way, the best way, where you can have a nice big thick steak and cook it perfectly. And we're going to do sous vide. You can use a vacuum sealer, but you can use Ziploc bags too. It is perfectly fine, all right? So next, this is going to go into the water bath. I have it at 126 degrees because I really like a raw steak, all right? So I'm going to leave it now for 4 hours at 126 degrees, and it's going to slowly cook inside this sealed bag. After 4 hours, your steak is going to look just like this. Make sure you have your pan ready, nice and hot, and it's time to head to the pan. But any of your fathers or daddies will truly love how perfectly cooked this steak is. This is truly rare, perfectly cooked, and you don't even have to wait for it to rest. We're going to do banana pudding. All right, it's a really easy, quick banana pudding. You can do this really quickly. If you've just finished with your trick and they're hungry, you can run into the kitchen and you can make them banana pudding, all right? In like 3 minutes.
I usually give my tricks a Pop-Tart and a Sanka packet to go. So now I'll make them banana pudding.
Oh, well, after I finished with my wife, she wants like a 5-course meal or something.
Get cooking, chef.
Right. All right, so now, banana pudding is one of my favorite things. We actually make it at the Shortbread Society. We've sold so much this weekend, it's crazy. Okay, so we're going to cut those up. And then you're going to get your favorite fruit, a banana. All right, so we're going to do that. So you're going to chop up your banana with your pudding, and you're going to put it in the bottom. Put it in the bottom. I didn't even mean that one. You're going to shove a banana in the bottom too. Just put 2 bananas in the bottom. It'll be perfectly fine, all right? And then you're going to get some cream, and you basically have a beautiful semi-layered.
Wow.
You can take a little more time for the trick. I'm sure they'll wait for you.
So tell us about the Shortbread Society.
Yes. Well, we just started a week and a half ago properly, and it's like a secret underground bakery, like the Illuminati of bakeries. And you have to find us on Instagram, and then we're going to pop up all around the city in like random locations and tell people, we are here, and then they'll all come running. And yeah, but we've sold so much this week. It's really fantastic. So go to shortbreadsociety.com. Shortbreadsociety.com or Shortbread Society on Instagram. And then if you're in the New York City area, you can order from us.
Will do. Thank you so much, Francis. Thank you so much.
Thank you, darling.
On to week 13, and my good buddy and Special Olympics medal winner, Joshua Beaupre, local newscaster Darren Perrin, and another international drag sensation, Sherry Vine. So I understand recently you won a medal.
I sure did.
What did you win?
Well, since the coronavirus has been spreading some Special Olympics, I decided to do a fitness challenge. So this is a gold medal for winning first place in the fitness challenge.
So what did you have to do?
Oh man, there was a lot to do. I had to do some stretching. I had to do some
strength exercises.
Strength and
endurance.
And endurance. So it's
Oh.
a long time.
I wouldn't. No, I couldn't do that, Josh. Good for you. So how many other medals have you won with the Special Olympics?
Oh my God, I go way, way back.
Yeah.
In 2013, I went to South Korea and got a 4th and 5th place ribbon. But
You went to South Korea?
I sure did, dude.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was big time.
I don't think they'd let me in the country myself. Darren, times are changed here in the past 3 or 4 months. How has your life and job changed?
You know, it has been so crazy. But, you know, I look at it, Amber, like it's probably never been more important to have this job than right now, given, you know, what's going on with Black Lives Matter, but also COVID. It's been a lot. I can't complain, but it has been given what's going on, but it's been a lot of overtime, as you can imagine. I've been putting in 70, some weeks 80-hour work weeks, a lot of in-house, but it's all changed because most of our crews now are working remotely, or they have home studios because we're trying to keep everybody out of the joint. We had 4 people with COVID at WCAX.
Wow. You did this show and you're doing some other live streaming as well. So tell me something about that.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot. I mean, I'm just trying to keep busy. I'm a person that for mental health and happiness and all that, it makes me happy to be busy and to work. So that's all I'm doing. So I have the next live show is Saturday, June 20th. It's me and Jackie Beat together, Battle the Bitches. Yeah. And then I will be doing another solo show in the beginning of July. And it's very dirty. I don't want to be too dirty on this show because I saw earlier you had younger people as guests. Big J. I was like, oh, I don't think I don't know if he's 18 or not, so I better watch my language.
No, I think you're safe. I think you're safe.
Yeah. Well, my shows are very adult.
Yes.
Not safe for work. They're very dirty, but silly, stupid, dirty. So anyway, people can just look at sherryvine.com. I've always got a show.
That girl works a lot. Next week was Father's Day. Guests included Mocktail Mo, not Motel Mo, who I referred to as later on in the show. And she was making us an alcohol-free drink. And there was also Jacob and his 2 daddies, Chris and Christopher. Tell us about the drink you're going to make for us tonight.
Well, tonight I'm going to make sort of an old-fashioned. I'm calling it My Heart Belongs to Daddy because of Daddy's.
Yes.
I thought that I would go with something a little bit more substantial. I'm going to put in a glass some whiskey stones to keep it nice and cool.
Now, whiskey stones. Tell us about whiskey stones.
So whiskey stones are lovely little products that you can buy that are, excuse my hands, they're clean. They're, I think, mostly marble, and you put them in the freezer, and you put them in your glass to chill the drink and not dilute the drink. Flavor, and it's chilled, and it doesn't change at all.
Very good. Very good. So you got your rocks in there.
Yes, I do. And I'm going to use my whiskey alternative. This is Ritual that I really adore. I love them. And I'm just going to put in, I'm going to really kind of zhuzh this up and put in 4 ounces. And then I'm going to put in 2 ounces of For Better For Worse, Smoky number 56.
Ooh, that sounds good.
It's lovely.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about mocktails and the downside that they're getting better with is mouthfeel. So with alcohol, you get that nice viscous feeling in your mouth of the alcohol. And a lot of alternatives don't have that. It feels a little bit watery in your mouth, so it's not quite the same. This, For Better For Worse, creates that wonderful feeling that you get from alcohol. And the whiskey alternative here has a little bit of cayenne in it. And so then you get that lovely burn that you
Whoa. Now, have you ever made one of these and not told them it was a mocktail And I mean, not to fool them, but just to see how close they are in taste. Or...
No, I haven't. I'm not.
See, I do that.
Just to see. I love that.
And save the alcohol for me.
I know. And as an homage to you, I've got a little bit of Vermont maple syrup in there just to sweeten it up a little bit, and just a splash of orange juice. So stir it up, give it a nice little stir, pour it over your rocks, and there you have it. It's
how nice. So where would one find those ingredients, such as the whiskey substitutes?
Online, on Amazon. You can definitely find them on Amazon. For better for worse, you would go to their website, For Better for Worse. And for the Ritual Whiskey Alternative, you would go either to Amazon or to their website.
Are there different challenges being a gay couple with a child as opposed to a normal couple with a child?
What do you think, Jacob?
I don't know.
I think the funniest one is that we get confused for each other. We would drop Jacob off and one would pick Jacob up at daycare. And it took the staff weeks before they realized
and parents
that we were two separate people.
Other parents. And they'd suddenly see both of us together at the same time and they'd be completely shocked. They had no idea what was going on. I think that is still true for some people, that they don't know we're two separate people.
Now.
Yeah, your teachers do. They're good about it.
Yeah. So, Jacob, what do you call them? What are their names to you?
Daddy, Papa.
Doing this every week, I became sort of a celebrity, and other people asked me to be on their shows. I hosted Catch the Mania twice. That was really cool. Vermont Comedy Club has a Talk to Us Please show every Friday night. I was a guest on that. Miss Richfield hosts her bingo every week, and she has guests from all over the world on there. I was on that. And then there's this local talk show with quite an unusual host called Peanut.
Interview Minute with Peanut. Peanut.
Hi, Peanut.
Who are you?
Well, I'll tell your people who I am. I'm Amber LeMay from the House of LeMay.
Where are you?
The hot damn trailer park in Beaver Pond, Vermont.
Do you like my new look?
Oh.
What have you been doing to pass the time?
Oh. Eating.
Cocktail peanuts?
Yes. Peanut, what's your favorite cocktail?
I'm trying to replicate the spicy old-fashioned that they make at Vermont Comedy Club.
Thank goodness the liquor stores are still open. Give me my platinum vodka. That's all I need.
Tell us about your quarantine gig.
Every Sunday night, I do a live Facebook broadcast called Amber Live.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I will check that out. Amber, do you have any words of advice for us?
Let's just hang in there, people, okay? Good times are coming. I know they are.
I think you're super fabulous.
I really like you.
Please help us in welcoming Amber LeMay. Applause, 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 applause. Yeah. It's happening. I can tell. Amber, keep playing, Nathan. Okay.
I really feel like.
Oh, you know what it is? Video.
There we go.
There it is.
Yes, yes. Oh.
Hi, Amber.
I'm doing some redecorating. I've got a new set coming in for Sunday's show, so I'm tearing the old.
Goodness.
But, I'm so happy to be a part of Darren's night. And I do want to thank Darren for the pearl necklace. He's given me many pearl necklaces over the years. I just wanted to share that with you today. So let's get on to round number 2, and it's all about drag queens. All right. So get your drag knowledge all worked up, and then we'll go on to question number 1.
Ah, fabulous.
Hey, Mr. Richfield.
This has been a long time coming. Amber LeMay, all the way from Burlington, Vermont.
Yes. Well, Beaver Pond, actually. My home is in Beaver Pond, but I'm being quarantined in Burlington.
So you're not even, I thought Beaver Pond was just is it close to Burlington, or where is
No,
Beaver?
it's up in the Northeast Queendom of our beautiful state of Vermont.
Oh, that is beautiful. Well, you look stunning, and it looks like you maybe are held up in a basement or something. There's a big brick wall behind you. So,
yeah, it is in Bob's basement.
Sweetie, listen. If you're in jail, you can tell me. I know you've been arrested before. I know you could be jail or prison, and if it is, you just tell me, okay? Because I'm very forgiving. We've had people in prison on before, so we can do the truth. Okay.
And Stacy could help me. Remember Stacy from a couple weeks ago? I remember Stacy.
I know. There's a lot of that going around, actually. And the longer I'm in the trailer, the more appealing everybody's looking. I'm telling you, you're not looking bad right now either. Anyway, don't go too far. We'll chat with you.
I'm right here. Closing out our first 15 shows, we celebrated Pride. First with Meg Tomulonis from the Vermont Queer Archives talking about Vermont's first Pride March back in 1983. Then we had Angela Mansberry from New York City and someone many asked for many times, my dear cousin, Lucy Bell LeMay. So tell us about the first Pride March that we had here in Vermont.
And I'm working on 2 projects associated with this, which is why I'm sort of been immersed in researching it. The first Pride March was on June 25th, 1983 in Burlington. It was organized by a group of lesbians and gay men. The lesbians were mostly, Common Woman, which was a newspaper at the time, had gotten a grant from the Haymarket Fund to do some sort of event. So grants were important then. Yep, there's Common Woman advertising that lesbian and gay pride, which is what it was known as. 300 people came. It's really interesting to look at the newspaper coverage about it because it's mixed. There were lots of debates about whether or not the Burlington City Council should support a Pride celebration. The council voted 6.
And who was mayor at the time?
Bernie Sanders was the mayor.
Sanders, yes.
So interesting times. There was some debate about it, but the event itself sounds like it was completely amazing. I'm working on a project with a grassroots committee that includes a few people from the Pride Center, as well as some of the original organizers and some activists to put a plaque in City Hall Park marking the first Pride.
Oh, yes. Well, you let me know if I can help with raising funds or awareness or whatever, because I'd love to have that acknowledged.
Thank you so much. It's been a really important project and a personal one for some of them too, as well as me.
I would do a monthly murder mystery show where we would watch Murder, She Wrote. And I came up with a whole game where the audience votes on the killer in real time. I present 6 different suspects and you get to vote for the killer. So it's super fun. That was my first stable gig. I would do that once a month and it was a different episode every month.
How fun is that?
So much fun. And it was great because you get such a different crowd. You get people and it was during the day, so it wasn't at night. So it was like an easy activity to do during the day. And then you'd get so many young people who either had never watched Murder, She Wrote or had heard about it. And it was just or some people were like, oh, I used to watch that with my grandmother and we both loved it. So it's really, I just think it's a great way of bringing in the community in a friendly but different way.
Oh, that was year 2000.
Yes.
That was the Queens of Denial.
Yes. And that was the year that Lady Zeno raised I think she raised over $5,000 for the Pride Parade or for the Pride festivities, playing dollar bingo at Earl.
Bob was the bartender, and it was dollar Bud Night and bingo and dollar hot dogs.
And I used to go there with a pocket full of money and leave with nothing. And it was $1 beer.
But you had fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, I think.
Oh, Doug thinks your hair spent too much time on a ventilator. We do call her airhead.
Oh, my salon.
No, that year was that with the Queens of Denial, we had 4 people pulling our float, and then we also had you as the La Majorette.
And we had 2 mummers. Remember?
from Philadelphia. They
Yes.
they contacted us and said, "Hey, we're going to be in Burlington for Pride. Can we be in the parade?" We said, "Oh yeah, you can be in the parade."
Yeah. They were happy.
22 people or so in that entourage.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for the clip show. Wow. All of that in the past 15 weeks. Thank you. Thank you for watching every week, or even if you've only watched once. Thank you for liking us on Facebook or subscribing there over on YouTube. I want to thank all my guests. Oh my gosh, weren't they fascinating? And I feel very fortunate to be able to talk to them and to share them with you. And I got to tell you, none of this could happen without my New York crew. Jack Quint down there helping with a lot of the stuff. And then you met him earlier, Russell Dreyer, and he makes it all happen. So I want to thank Jack. I want to thank Russell. I want to thank all my guests. And I want to thank you. And to close it out, I want to play one of the most beautiful moments that I've had the past 15 weeks. And that was Yolanda singing her song, Angels. Thank you.
Why do you feel so out of place? So out of touch with the human race? You don't seem to understand why your brother won't lend a helping hand. Why do people tear apart? Ooh, your tender heart. Why does the nighttime seem so dark? When the light shines inside your heart, we are angels, we are angels, and we're struggling to be human. We are angels, we are angels, and we're struggling to be human. Time heals all pain. That's the way of the world. Time will bring you around again. Ooh, that's the way of the world. We are angels, we are angels, and we're struggling to be human. We are angels, we are angels, and we're struggling to be human.
Now that Amber LeMay craptacular is over, when does the Best of show start?
That display of LeMay was the best of show.
Ew! I'd hate to see the stuff they cut out.